Hi guys! So, first episode, and guess what it is? It's A, obviously, beginning of the alphabet, and it's for art. But what's furry art? Furry art is any piece of art that is an anthropomorphic animal, which is a human with ears, tails, fur, whiskers, paws, anything of that nature, or feral creatures with a humanoid face or facial expression. If it doesn't have this, it is then considered just animal art. There are two different people that make this. It is anther artists and furry artists. Anther artists are people who just like to make this kind of art and are not actually considered in the furry fandom. Furry artists obviously are the people that are in the furry fandom, and there are different kinds of art, which I will now cover with this beautiful slideshow.
This is a sketch art done by Hibari, and sketch art's generally done with black and white style with pencils. This one is an example by Pinku, and this one was meant to be like a color-in, kind of color book feel to it. And this one is done by Tani DeReal, which is just a quick sketch that they were doing to just show that they can draw. Realistic art is more realistic, as the name states, and this one is done by Dark Natasha, a very popular artist. This one is done by Silver One, who focuses more on the blending of colors and the mixing of the different shades. This one is done by Rubop, which is a more Japanese-style watercolor painting realistic image. Digital art, unlike traditional art, is done on the computer. This one is done by Falvey, one of my favorites. Whereas this one definitely has many different layers and overlays, and this one's done by Akita Monster. It focuses on more the realistic aspect while keeping it cartoony, like this one, which is done by Art Sikarnare. Comics are also popular within the fandom. This one, for example, is Darcy Sower's illustration for Hunter and Other Works. This one is done by Amber Williams, also known as Miss Mob, and it's just a quick little insert from a comic. This one is a very popular comic called Stupid Fox, which is done by Emily Chan, or EY Chan, and it's very cute. Cartoon style of art is really popular. This one is done by Muzz and was a little commission that someone did for their persona. Whereas this one is a little collage of different characters that is done by Combat Raccoon to just showcase different talents and different skills. This one is done by Go-Kart, a cute little dragon with a teapot, and it's clearly with the over-exaggerated and stretched features. Then there's also the more adult side, which is known as Yiff. This one is a joke on the Aliens meme called Butts by Tari, whereas this one is a more traditional drawing of a male tiger done by Evil Kitty 3. And then we also have the pinup style of furries that are very common, and this one is done by Princess Ray. All of the links to all of the pictures are down below.
So how do you get furry art? Well, first you come up with a concept. You're like, like for example, I'm a cat, but I like purple and I like black, so I became a black cat with purple stripes. So I got this idea, and then I created a ref sheet. A terrible ref sheet, but it works for what it is. Generally, it is the character full body with the paw pads, a few different colored paws, the tail separate, different angles. I just show the back and the front because I really don't have that much detail, so it was kind of easy. And then I did show my special chest markings. Well, you take the ref sheet and you send it into some kind of artist or trick a friend into it, make your mate do it like I do all the time, and then you can get these things. Here's a drawing of me. It's all nice and pretty. This is done by my mate, not me. I can't draw very well, but he can. You can also do with the ref sheets or the drawings is you can also get badges. Here is my badges. My mate made these. They're not on a lanyard yet, but that's what I'm going to work on. Badges are pretty popular. You generally wear them whenever you go to a fur meet or a fur con, or I wear them whenever I go to anime conventions. Just any kind of convention, you just have it hanging on your lanyard. People know it's you. It can help you identify characters. I've had that helpful. Someone came up to me and was like, "Oh, hey," and I'm just like, "Hi," and then I saw their badge and I was like, "Oh, hey, I do know you. What's up?" It can be really helpful. You can also get really well done art. I have one done by an ex-mate of mine, but, you know, it's in a frame and it's really cute and I like it. Another important thing is the artwork itself is a very big part of the furry culture. Now, where did it come from? Back in 1960 or 70s, we're not entirely sure, there was this thing called the Comic Code Authority, and they were very big on censoring everything. But then somehow There's this guy named Robert Crumb, and he created Fritz the Cat, which I learned about this in class, did not believe it was true, then I went and looked it up. This cat is one of the most vulgar cartoons I have ever seen. It started off as a comic strip and then it got turned into a movie. If you can find an actual clip of this movie, I've only seen clips, I have not been able to find the full entire movie. If you can, please send it to me, I would love to see it. And it's pretty much this cat acting like a normal 20-year-old guy, you know, they just want to hook up with people, but like he actually shows it, and everyone's an anthropomorphic animal, and it's really racist as well, which is that made me a little nervous, but hey, it's the comedy back then. In 1980, the underground comic culture gave rise to an independent black and white comics. This also led to amateur magazines and art, especially the newsletters that were sent out, which is kind of where Furry has its roots a little bit, but we'll cover that one in a later episode. Some of the name-worthy titles that came out of this is Albedo, which is actually probably the first Furry comic book. There aren't many before this. This is really the one that everyone points to. It was done by Steve Galashi, and then also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, woo, came out of this one. Eastman Laird, they're the two people that created that one, in case you didn't know. And then Omaha the Cat Dancer, which is Reed Waller's work, was an erotic comic strip. It came out every couple weeks, you get a new one. It was okay, but it also shows where the fandom came from, which definitely will be touched on throughout the series, and in a later episode I will take an entire episode to focus on the adult theme. 1990s, which I like to say is the birth of Furry. Not the beginning, but the birth of it. Like, it's starting to be popular and people are knowing about it. Disney, obviously. Big Disney fan myself. I have an entire Lion King poster, which is one of the more notable movies for getting people into the furry fandom is through Lion King. Lion King has many different fan groups outside of furry culture and outside of anime culture and outside of just movie culture. And people would make Lion King fan fiction, which, yes, it is feral, but it has that facial expression that's so Lion King's actually a furry movie. Yay us, we claim all of Disney. Disney did help us take over the world, but hey, it brought in a lot of younger generation, really sparked interest in the furry community with a lot of people, or led them to it. Also in the 1990s, there was this thing called the VCL, which is the Vixen Controlled Library. It was an online forum that was only focused on anthropomorphic art. One thing on VCL that was debated, though, was only a furry can create furry art, which would then throw out Lion King. It would throw out many other movies like Fritz the Cat, which is one of the first anthropomorphic animals to make popular. But then this was then disregarded because they're like, oh, it was just a troll, because there's a really big troll problem on VCL like there is on all internet sites today. Can you find the furry art is another question. Well, for Affinity, it's probably the biggest one. There is So Furry, and then if you're looking for a not just furry-focused website, there is DeviantArt. And if you need help, there is Draw Furry. I have all of those links down below. You can go ahead and you can click on them, check them out. And that's it for A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will continue to make these videos. Next up is Burn Fur. So if you know any attacks or hate that has gone on with Furry, please let me know in the comments. I would be glad to enter that in. I'm going to be doing research the next couple days on it. But, bye!